Two women turned 40 on the same Tuesday morning. Maya and Nicole met at 25, waiting tables in the same restaurant. They earned the same $60,000 a year. They rented apartments 4 blocks apart in the same city. They shared the same fears, the same rent, the same tired feet. They complained about the same manager and split the same cheap dinners. 15 years later, one of them has $310,000 invested. The other has $28,000 and a knot in her stomach. Same salary. Same city, same starting line at 25. The gap between them is not luck, and it is not income. It comes down to 3 quiet habits, all adopted before 40. Maya started them at 30. Nicole kept meaning to. That 10-year delay is now worth almost $300,000. Here is the part nobody warns young women about. The habits that build this gap are boring, small, and almost invisible. No side hustle. No windfall, no rich husband, no lottery ticket. Just 3 decisions, repeated quietly, while everyone else waited for the perfect moment. Today we walk through exactly what those 3 habits are, and we run the real numbers on what they cost to skip. Stick with me, because the last habit is the one that surprises everyone. Let me be clear about why this matters more for women specifically. The financial math is not gender neutral, no matter how much we wish it were. Women retire with a median of $56,000 saved. For men, that median number is $92,000. That is 39% less sitting in women's accounts at retirement. Now stack the second problem on top of the first. Women live longer, averaging 81 years against 76 for men. So women must fund 5 extra years with far less money, less saved, more years to cover. That is the trap. Then there is the paycheck itself, which usually starts smaller. Women working full-time earn about 83 cents for every male dollar. For mothers, the gap is worse, near 74 cents on the dollar. And that gap bites hardest between ages 35 and 44. That is exactly when careers pause for children and aging parents. So the window to build wealth is narrower, and it closes earlier. Even Social Security reflects it, paying women far less each month in retirement. The average retired woman collects around $1,800 monthly from it. The average retired man collects more than $2,100. This is not meant to scare you or shame you. It is meant to show you why timing matters so much. The habits you build before 40 carry the most weight of your life. Every one of these gaps has the same quiet solution. That solution is time, and time favors whoever starts first. You cannot close the pay gap by yourself overnight. You cannot add years to your career on demand. But you can control when your money starts working for you. That single lever is the most powerful one you own. Here is what the data shows about closing that gap for good. Let us keep this fair and start Maya and Nicole in the same place. At 25, both women earned $60,000 before taxes. Both paid $1,200 a month in rent. Both drove used cars and split streaming subscriptions with roommates. Neither had a trust fund, a windfall, or a secret advantage. Neither one studied finance, and neither one felt confident about money. On paper, at 25, these 2 women were financially identical. For 5 full years, they stayed identical, spending and saving in step. They took the same trips and bought the same secondhand furniture. Then at 30, a single decision quietly split their futures apart. Maya opened a retirement account on an ordinary Sunday afternoon. It took her about 20 minutes and 1 nervous cup of coffee. She set $500 to move automatically every single month. She never touched it again, and she barely noticed it leave. Nicole meant to start too, and she absolutely intended to. But life kept getting in the way life always does. There was a wedding, a move, a car repair, a bad month. There was a raise that somehow got fully absorbed within weeks. Every year, she told herself that next year was the year. Next year had better cash flow, more stability, and less chaos. Next year kept arriving, and next year kept looking exactly the same. Nicole finally started investing seriously at 38, 8 years later. By then, she was contributing $800 a month, more than Maya. She assumed the bigger contribution would let her catch up quickly. It did not, and the reason is the whole point of this video. Maya invested less money per month but gave it far more time. Nicole invested more money per month but gave it far less time. In investing, time beats size almost every single time. Compounding rewards the years, not the size of the deposit. Run the numbers and the gap becomes almost impossible to close. By age 40, Maya had already invested for a full 10 years. Her account had grown well past $100,000. Nicole, at 40, had barely $28,000 to her name. The 8-year head start had already done permanent damage. And the damage grows every year the two women keep aging. Maya's $500 a month, growing near 6% from 30, reaches roughly $760,000 by 67. Nicole's later start, even at $800 a month, lands hundreds of thousands behind. Same discipline, same paycheck, wildly different endings. The only variable that truly changed was when they each began. Picture the two accounts side by side at 40. Maya's has crossed 6 figures and is climbing fast. Nicole's is still crawling, barely off the ground. Nicole is not lazy, and Nicole is not careless. She works hard, pays her bills, and saves when she can. She simply believed the lie that starting could wait. That lie is the most expensive story a woman can tell herself. It costs nothing today and everything tomorrow. And it feels completely reasonable in the moment, every single time. The tragedy is that Nicole did almost everything right. She just did the one crucial thing too late. That single delay outweighed every good decision she made. Money forgives many mistakes, but it rarely forgives lost time. That is the foundation. Now here are the 3 habits themselves. The first habit is simple to say and genuinely hard to do. Automate your investing before you can talk yourself out of it. Most people treat investing as whatever is left after spending. The problem is that nothing is ever left after spending. Something always appears to claim that last leftover dollar. Maya flipped the order and paid her future self first. On payday, $500 moved automatically into her investments. It left before she could feel it or spend it. She budgeted her whole life around what remained afterward. This one switch removes willpower from the equation entirely. You cannot skip an investment you never see hit your checking account. Automation turns a hard monthly decision into a single decision made once. Here is what nobody tells you about automation and time. Your 30s are the decade that does the heaviest lifting. The dollars you invest early have the most years to multiply. A dollar invested at 25 can grow to nearly $15 by 65. That same dollar invested at 35 grows to only about $7. Wait 10 years and you lose more than half the final result. That is not a small penalty. That is the entire ballgame. The early dollars are worth more than any later dollars. No raise later in life can fully replace that lost time. For women, front-loading these years matters even more than for men, because the caregiving years often arrive right in your late 30s. That is when contributions frequently pause, shrink, or stop completely. A maternity leave, a sick parent, a move for a partner's job, any of these can quietly freeze your investing for years. So the money you invest before that pause has to work overtime. Automating in your early 30s builds a cushion the pause cannot erase. The account keeps compounding even while you step back from adding to it. Maya did not out-earn Nicole, and she did not out-budget her. She simply made the decision once and let the machine run. Even during her own lean months, the automation kept going. Most people never automate because starting feels like it can wait. It always feels like there is a better, calmer time ahead. That calmer time is a mirage, and chasing it costs you years. Think of automation as hiring a tiny, tireless employee. It works every payday, forever, and never asks for a break. It never gets tired, distracted, or talked out of the plan. It does the one thing most people cannot do consistently. It simply shows up month after month without your permission. That reliability is worth more than any burst of motivation. Motivation fades within days, but a system runs for decades. Maya's system ran quietly through good years and hard ones alike. It ran while she slept, traveled, worried, and celebrated. By the time she noticed, it had built a small fortune. That is the strange magic of removing yourself from the decision. It cannot wait, because the clock is the one thing you cannot buy back. The second habit is the one women get wrong most often. Keep your money in your own name and keep it invested. 2 ideas live inside that sentence, and both of them matter deeply. First, every woman should own an account in her own name, not a joint account only. Not her partner's plan only, her own. Life is unpredictable, and financial independence is not a romantic insult. It is a seatbelt, and you wear it hoping never to need it. Divorce, widowhood, and job loss do not send a warning letter. Women are statistically more likely to outlive a spouse anyway. An account in your own name is not distrust. It is preparation. It means you always have your own footing to stand on. Second, and just as important, keep that money actually invested. Here is where good instincts quietly become expensive mistakes. Many women are praised for being careful, cautious, and safe with money. So they save diligently, then let it sit in plain cash. Cash feels safe, but cash is not actually safe at all. Inflation eats the value of idle cash a little every single year. At 3% inflation, your money loses value while it sits. Money parked in a low-interest account loses buying power quietly. You do not see the loss, so it feels like nothing is wrong. But over decades, that safe-feeling choice can cost you a fortune. $10,000 in cash may buy far less in 30 years. The same $10,000 invested could grow several times over instead. That is the difference between standing still and moving forward. Being careful with money is a genuine strength for most women. But careful should mean invested and diversified, not frozen and idle. Safe does not mean cash. Safe means broad, boring, and growing. The goal is not to gamble. The goal is to grow. A simple index fund is careful and invested at the same time. Maya kept a small emergency fund in cash for real emergencies. 3 to 6 months of expenses, sitting ready, and nothing more. Everything beyond that she kept invested and working around the clock. Nicole kept far too much sitting still, feeling responsible while losing ground. She felt safe, and that feeling quietly cost her real money. Think of your own account as your personal power source. It quietly gives you choices when life stops being predictable. It means you can leave a bad situation if you must. It means you can help a parent without asking permission. It means retirement is yours, not something you inherit or hope for. Financial independence is not about expecting the worst from anyone. It is about never being trapped by anyone or anything. Women who keep their own accounts keep their own options. And options in the end are what real wealth actually buys. Own it, invest it, and let it compound in your name. The third habit sounds backwards, but the data absolutely loves it. Do less, not more, once your money is actually invested. Most people believe successful investing means constant action and clever timing. They think winners are glued to charts, buying and selling all day. The opposite is true, and there is real research to prove it. When Fidelity studied over 5 million accounts, one pattern jumped out. Women investors outperformed men by about 0.4% a year. That may sound tiny, but compounded over decades, it is enormous. 0.4%, repeated for 30 years, becomes real money. And the reason is almost funny in how simple it is. Women trade less often, so they stay invested through the scary drops. They are not glued to the screen reacting to every headline. One study found single women trade 27% less than single men. Men in another famous study traded 45% more, and it hurt them. That extra trading dragged their returns down by roughly 1.5% yearly. Every unnecessary trade is a chance to buy high and sell low. Every trade also invites fees and taxes that quietly eat returns. The market rewards patience far more than it rewards activity. Doing nothing during a scary week is often the smartest move available. Consider what happens to the person who panics and sells. They miss the best recovery days, which cluster near the worst ones. Miss just a handful of those days, and returns collapse. The investor who stayed put captures the full rebound instead. So the reward for sitting still is often the whole gain. Nicole learned this lesson twice, and both times it cost her. Maya picked a diversified, low-cost index fund and mostly left it alone. She automated her buying, so she bought in good times and bad. When the market dropped, she did nothing, which was exactly the right move. She actually kept buying while prices were low and on sale. Nicole panicked during downturns and sold near the bottom twice. Each time, she locked in a loss she never had to take. Then she waited, nervous, and bought back only after prices recovered. She sold low and bought high, the exact opposite of the goal. The habit is boring on purpose, and boring is what builds wealth. Excitement in investing usually means someone is about to lose money. Set it up well, then get out of your own way. The less you touch it, the more it tends to grow. This is the rare place where doing nothing is the winning strategy. Choose a boring fund, keep buying, and refuse to panic. There is a name for what Maya did automatically. It is called dollar cost averaging, and it is quietly powerful. By investing the same amount every month, she smoothed out the ride. When prices were high, her money bought a little less. When prices were low, that same money bought a lot more. She never had to guess the perfect moment to buy. The schedule made the decision, so emotion never got a vote. Nicole tried to time the market and guessed wrong repeatedly. The truth is that almost nobody times the market well. Even professionals fail at it far more often than they admit. So Maya stopped trying, and that surrender made her richer. Consistency beats brilliance in investing, decade after decade. The tortoise does not just win this race, it laps the hare. There is a fourth force working underneath all three habits. It is the quiet cost of fees, and it deserves a moment. Most people never check the fees hidden inside their investments. A fund charging 1% a year sounds almost harmless. But that 1% compounds against you for your entire life. Over 40 years, a 1% fee can erase a fortune. It can quietly swallow a quarter of your final balance. Maya chose a low-cost index fund charging a tiny fraction of that. Nicole held pre-share funds a salesman once recommended to her. She paid more in fees for worse average performance. Most people never notice because the fee is skimmed silently. Run the numbers, and low fees are a raise you give yourself. Cheap, boring, and broad beats expensive, exciting, and narrow. So check what you are paying, because you are always paying something. Let me show you what these numbers look like at each milestone. Maya invested $500 a month starting at age 30. By 35, her account had crossed $40,000. That is more than the raw money she had put in. By 40, it had grown past $120,000. The growth was now adding more each year than she contributed. By 50, the account was compounding faster than she could believe. Her money was earning far more than her own deposits added. That is the moment compounding stops crawling and starts sprinting. Most people quit long before they ever reach that moment. They give up in the slow years and miss the fast ones. The slow early years are the price of the explosive later ones. Maya paid that price at 30, so her 50s paid her back. Nicole is still stuck in the slow years at 40. Her sprint has barely begun, and she has fewer years left. This is why starting before 40 matters more than any single deposit. The early years feel pointless, right up until they change everything. There is one more trap worth naming before we move on. It is the raise trap, and almost everyone falls into it. Every time your pay goes up, your spending quietly rises to match. A bigger apartment, a newer car, a nicer everything. This is called lifestyle creep, and it eats raises alive. Nicole got several raises across her 20s and 30s. Each one vanished into a slightly more expensive life. Maya did something small but powerful with every raise she got. She increased her automatic investment before she adjusted her lifestyle. Half of each raise went to her future, automatically, first. She never missed money she never started spending. Over 15 years, that habit alone added tens of thousands. Your future is funded by the raises you refuse to fully absorb. So the next time you earn more, invest more before you spend more. So those are the three habits, and they build on each other. Automate early, own and invest your money, then leave it alone. Each habit is small, but together they compound into something huge. None of them require a high income or a finance degree. None of them require picking the next hot stock. They require a decision, a system, and enough patience to be boring. Maybe you are watching this and feeling a little behind. Maybe you are past 30 and wondering if you missed the window. Here is the honest answer, and it is good news. The best day to start was years ago, of course. But the second best day is genuinely today. Every year you wait costs more than the year before. Which means every year you start early saves more than the last. So starting at 34 beats starting at 35. Starting this month beats starting next month. The window is not closed, but it is quietly shrinking. Let me make the first step almost embarrassingly simple. Open one retirement or brokerage account this week. It takes about 20 minutes and a little courage. Set one automatic transfer, even $50 to start. Pick one broad, low-cost index fund inside it. Then turn off the app and go live your life. You do not need to understand everything to begin. You only need to begin and let time do the rest. Confidence does not come before starting. It comes after. Most women who invest say they wish they had started sooner. Almost none of them say they wish they had waited. Now here is the counterintuitive truth almost nobody says out loud. Women are not worse with money. Women are already better investors. The whole culture tells women they are anxious, cautious, and bad with numbers. The data says the exact opposite in almost every measurable way. Women save more consistently and trade less recklessly than men do. When women invest, they tend to outperform, quietly and steadily. So the gap in wealth is not a gap in skill. It is a gap in time, in confidence, and in participation. Fewer women invest at all, and those who do often start later. Roughly 2/3 of women say they actively invest against 3/4 of men. Women often invest a smaller share of their income too. Not because they are worse, but because they were told they were. That single lie has cost women hundreds of thousands of dollars each. The competence was always there. Only the invitation was missing. Here is the line worth remembering long after this video ends. Women do not have a competence problem. They have a starting line problem. Fix the starting line, and the skill was always there waiting. The habits in this video simply move your starting line earlier. And earlier, as we have seen, is worth a small fortune. The advantage was never something you had to go out and earn. It was something you already had, waiting for you to begin. Think about how strange this really is for a moment. An entire group is told it is bad at something. Then the data shows that group is quietly excellent at it, yet the story keeps getting repeated, generation after generation. And every time a woman believes it, she starts a little later. That delay, multiplied across millions of women, is a national fortune lost. Not because of a lack of ability, but a lack of belief. The market does not care about your gender at all. It only rewards patience, consistency, and time in the seat. Those are traits women already show at higher rates than men. So the wealth was never out of reach for you. It was hiding behind a story you were handed and believed. Put the story down and pick up the habits instead. You do not need to become someone new to build wealth. You only need to start in your own name and stay put. If this reframed how you think about money, you are exactly who this channel is for. There is no hustle culture here, and there is no shame. Just the hidden math behind the decisions you face every day. Maya was not smarter than Nicole, and she did not earn more. She simply started 3 quiet habits before the clock ran too far. The difference was never talent, income, or luck. It was 3 small habits and the courage to start them early. Those habits are available to you right now, today. You still have time to move your own starting line today. Automate 1 transfer this week, even if it is small. Open 1 account in your own name and keep it invested. Then do the hardest easy thing there is and leave it alone. If this helped, subscribe to Maya Wealth and hit the notification bell. We break down the hidden math behind the financial decisions you face every day. Make the decision that matches your reality, not someone else's sales pitch. The best time to start these habits was at 30. The second best time is the moment you finish this sentence.